Hello and welcome back. I'm Christy, the voice behind Crafty Christy's Creations Silhouette Studio Tutorials, which is a subset of Crafty Christy's Creations how-to videos. This is the place to find step-by-step directions on how to do all the things in Silhouette Studio. Whether you're a beginner or needing a little refresher, this is the place for you. So grab your computer and open Silhouette Studio. It's time to dive into another episode.
Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to make a congratulations banner just like the one you see here. And I'm going to walk you through all the steps. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a fresh page and we're going to start from the very beginning. I have my transparency turned down so that I can use the grid lines that are behind it to help place things on the mat. And I've got my media size as a full 12 by 12. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is draw the banner piece. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle. And I want mine to be 3 inches wide and 5 inches tall. And it's okay if it's not perfect here. We can go up, and I'm going to hit V on my keyboard to get my mouse. Or you can come up here and hit the little mouse select key here. All right, now what I was saying, if it's not perfect, like you can see mine's not, I'm going to leave the aspect ratio unlocked. And I'm going to come up here, and I said I wanted this to be 5 inches tall. And I want it to be 3 inches wide. Now it's perfect how I want it. And I still have it matched up on here so that I can tell where all the lines are at. All right, so here's where things get a little tricky. And if you're new to this, just hang with me and I'll get you through it. We're going to go ahead and click on our little box here and we're going to double tap. And you get the little points. And now what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can't add an extra point right here. I right clicked. Double click. And now I have another point here. I don't know that this is quite in the middle, but we'll fix that here in a minute. I'm going to click on my point and try to get the selection tool, and I'm going to drag it up. And you can drag it however far you want. I think I'm going to leave it. Let's try right there. So the next thing we have to do is make sure it's in the center. And I think I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. About right there. So if you wanted to make sure it was in the center, you could come over here to View, and we can say Show Grid. And with the grid, I'm going to turn my transparency all the way up. And I'm actually going to change my color here to something that I can see a little bit easier. Nope. That's a little bit easier to see. So we're just focused on this point right here. So I'm going to double tap again. And I'm going to take that point and I'm going to put it right on the crosshairs right there. And now I know it is completely centered. And here's my one side and here's my other side. And then here's the top up here. Okay, so that's our banner piece. I don't necessarily love to work with the grid lines because it makes it hard to see. What we can do is fill our banner in with a color. And now we can see it, and that's so much easier to work with. The next thing we're going to do is add a letter. And if you're going to keep repeating this and type out all the things, we're just going to type out congrats. And what we need to do is one letter at a time. So we need to do the C, do it again, O, N, It's a little tedious. A T S. Oop, capital. There. Okay, now that I have all my letters, I can select all of them, and then I can come up here and choose the font that I want. And I'm going to use Impact Font. That is one of my favorite go-tos. And then you'll get letters that look like this. Feel free to use any font that you want. And then the thing I'm going to show you, we're going to use the O. Actually, let's put the O on here. Before we do that, let's do this while this is really easy. Let's give all of these a fill color. Makes it easier so we can see what we're doing. Let's give them a bright color. Okay, we're going to grab the O and I'm going to bring it over here. And we can make these a lot bigger. Let's see how big we can make this guy. So I'm just going to grab the corner here and I'm going to expand it. And I think that looks much better. And that looks about center right there. Okay, now the thing with this, if you left it just like this, when you go to cut out the O, you're going to lose the center. If you're doing this in paper, you'll lose the center and it'll just be a big gap in the center as well, which makes a difference when you're doing like an R or an A. You know, sometimes you want those center pieces to stay in there. So here's the little trick to keep those. I'm going to draw a really thin little box. And then I'm going to fill that in so you can see. I'm going to fill that with black. And then what I'm going to do is take this little box. I'm going to bring it to my O. I'm going to make a copy of this and I'm going to hit Control and C and then Control and V to paste it. That way I can keep using this same one for each of my letters. And then I'm going to click here and then I'm going to hit Control plus, plus, plus a few times and that'll help us zoom in so we can see better what we're doing. Your other option is to come up here to the plus and minus sign here to zoom. And then with my little piece still selected, I'm also going to hit Shift, hold down Shift, and then hit the O. And then I'm going to align those side to side. Okay, when those are aligned while they're still selected, I'm going to come over here to my Modify panel. And I'm going to hit Subtract. And then it took out that little chunk of the O. So now when you look at this, let's zoom out a little. So now when you look, there's just a little piece missing there. But now when you cut the O out of the banner piece, that little inside part will stay in place. So now you're just going to cut the teal part out of the purple. All right, now the next thing we're going to do, because we're making this a banner, we need to add some little holes to the sides so that we have a place to put our little string through. So I'm just using the ellipse tool, and if you hold down Shift while you pull this, you will get a perfect circle. And then make sure you let off your mouse before you let go of Shift, and then it'll stay a perfect circle. So again, I'm going to hit V on my keyboard to get my mouse. And I'm going to fill this one with white just so we can see where it goes. Oops. Yeah. Nope, it didn't work. I have to click on it. Fill it with white. There we go. All right, so we're going to put one in the corner here. And then if you wanted to put the little graduation cap on there, I have that here. And I'm just going to copy it. So I'm going to hit Control C. Go back to my design and hit Control V to place it. And then I'm just going to shrink it down to size. So you will be able to find this graduation cap on my website, and you could purchase it there if you would like to use this one. Otherwise, you can certainly make your own graduation cap. You can turn it and then add it where you want on here, or however big you want it. Let's see, we are a little over 3.5 inches wide and 2.1 inches tall with that piece right there. So now what I'm going to do with that graduation cap selected, if that's where I want to keep it, I think I'm going to turn it a little bit more. And then I'm going to, again, hold down Shift, select my little banner piece, and then I'm going to come over here and weld. And that makes those pieces one. And you can see everything that was on top of there has gone away. So what we need to do is take, with our banner selected, we're going to come up here and hit Send to Back. And now everything else will come back up to the front. We like this guy right where he's at. So we're going to come over here to our replicate panel and we're going to duplicate to the right. And then I'm just going to use my arrow key to just keep tapping it over to the side. That way it's at the same level. And I'm going to put it in the corner. The other thing you could do, if you didn't want to spend all that time tapping, you can grab it, bring it over to the corner. It looks like this one's down a little bit more, so now I can select both of these. And then I'm going to align them at the bottom. And now you can see they're perfectly in the same place. And now you can use your arrow keys with them both selected and scoot them up. And then that's where you want them. All right, so now we're almost done. The next thing to do, again, click on our little circle pieces. And we're going to click on our banner piece. And we're going to go back to our modify panel. And again, we're going to hit subtract. And now cut those pieces out. All right, now before we put the O on here, I want to show you what to do, how to line them up so you do your next letter in the same place. So again, I'm just going to replicate this to the right. So I have a second one. I'm going to, let's do another letter and I'll show you, let's do the A. Actually, before we do that, so let's see what size this one is. Oh, because we fixed it. I should have sized them all first before I put that line through there. Shoot. All right, so I'm going to grab the G. And I'm just going to try to size these so they're about the same size. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay, so we're at 183.6. I'm going to grab all of my letters. I'm going to hold down Shift and click that little piece. And now I'm going to come up here and we're going to do all these 183.6, I believe. So now they're all the same size. All right, let's use the R. See how it's going behind there? So what you can do with the R selected, you can say bring to front, or you could have clicked on the banner piece and hit send to back, either way. All right, so now to make sure that these are the same, I would line up all, replicate all of these, get all your letters to the size that you want them. We're going to send that to the back. And then when you have them all where you want them, oops, I'm holding down shift while I'm selecting all my letters, because we know that when you replicate to the side, all of your banners are on the same line. Plus you can tell they're all touching right here on that same line. So now I'm going to grab each of my letters and I'm going to align them in the middle. And now you can see they are all completely aligned at the same height. That's how you get them all to make sure that they are the same height. And then to get them centered on your design, what I like to do is, let's zoom in here. So I'm going to hit zoom, zoom. What I like to do to make sure they're centered side to side, see how each of these has a center box here? I'm going to line up that dot with this little V part here. And that one actually looks pretty good. I'm going to hit my arrow key to the left once, maybe twice, to see if that moves just a little bit closer to where I want it. All right, now let's fix this R. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to grab this guy. You can also right click and copy. Right click and paste. That way you don't want to use the last one because you want all your gaps to be the same. And then what I'm going to do again, let's zoom in. Because I want to be able to see this center part and I want it to stay there, I'm going to make this guy a little bit shorter. So I'm just going up. I'm going to line up the edge with the edge here. Looks like it needs to go over a smidgen. Okay. And then again, with that selected, I'm going to hit shift and select the R. We're going to go back to our modify panel and I'm going to hit subtract. And that took that piece out. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so now to make sure this is center, again, I'm going to center this piece with this. So I'm going to click and drag. You can see I've got my, oh goodness, what are they called? I can't think of what they're called, but it shows you, see that teal line that showed me that these two are aligned. That's how I know that they're still up and down at the same height. And then crosshairs. And then, whoops, I'm going to try to line this piece up with this right here. The other thing you could do is select everything. Select both of these pieces. And you could make it where that is right on a line. And then when you click this, click off, and then click just your R, you can better tell if this line, if your little piece there is in the middle. So again, if you need to, you can pull it over a little bit, use your arrow keys side to side to get it where you want it. Okay, and then when you have those where you want them, let's zoom out again. I'm hitting Control and minus. And then what you're going to do, click that, click your banner, and again, you're going to hit subtract. And now you have a piece that's ready for your banner. So let's go ahead and do that with this one. All right, when you have them all built and you've done all the letters that you want to arrange them all on your page. Let's arrange them on our page here. I'm going to zoom out. And I'm going to cut them on my 12 by 12 paper. You'll have to put them on here. When you have them all on here, so if you have Designer's Edition or higher, what you can do is come down to your nesting tool. And I'm going to use my cut area. Padding is how much space you want in between. I just want a little bit, and they can rotate 8 times, and it's only, or 4 times I'm going to use, and they're going to only use the things that are on the mat right now, and I'm going to hit nest. And what that does is help you use the least amount of paper possible. So when you get all of your items on there, you're good to go. And now you can come up to your send panel. We're cutting this out of paper. I am cutting mine out of heavy textured cardstock, so it's nice and durable. The thicker the paper, the better, the more durable this is going to be. When you have all of your settings right, let's turn my machine on. When you have all your settings correct, I would use this overcut button on here for these designs, especially for cutting in between the little tassel piece. That'll make it for a nicer cut. And then when you're ready, go ahead and hit send. And I will see you at the craft table where we will put this all together. Okay, since we've got all of our pieces cut out, now let's go ahead and put everything together. So I just went ahead and made the word congrats. And I'm just going to lay it out here so that way I know that I have it in the correct order. CONGRATS. All right, so I got this twine here at the dollar store. And the holes on this design are bigger, so you could throw ribbon in there if you wanted, but we're just going to use this twine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the back. I'm going to go through the back, around through the front, and then we'll go to our next piece. That way it only crosses through the front around the letter, and then it'll go around the cap. And then we'll do the same thing. So I face it away from me, go through the back, through the front, and on to the next one. So I still have the other end attached here, and I'm just feeding it through. And then as I get more on here, and then I'll spread them out, and then once I decide if I have enough, and then how long I want it, spread my letters out, and then I'll cut this end. Okay, so have it facing away from you. So you can go through the back side of the hole, around to the front, and through the back. So then it'll look like that. Okay. Almost done. So now it's on the back side. I'll pick up my next one. Make this easier for you to see. Through the back, around, through the front, and back. And I'm just going to keep scooting these down to make more room. And for the last one, again, with it facing this way, facing away from you, so you're looking at the back side. So if you were doing it looking, this is how you would do it looking at you. You would go through that way, through the back, and then you'd come out that end. So now that it's, oops. So I'm gonna lay it down. Got all of my pieces going the same direction. Get some more line in here. Try to spread them out a little bit on the table. So I want to make sure I have plenty of string on both sides, and that I can still spread these out. There, that's a little better. So I still have it attached to my big roll here while I figure out if I have enough. There. Okay, so then if I wanted to hang it, you know, the size of my table, it would hang like that. There you have it.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this tutorial valuable. If you did, click like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Silhouette Studio tutorials. If you are interested in purchasing the design used in this video, check out the link in the description below. Happy silhouetting! Until next time, with love, Crafty Christy.